And a warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining us here today for another live episode of Conversations with Michael. And of course, had to create a new introduction at some point here. And it was fun putting that new one here together last week. We come together every month in support of all those courageous beings from all parts of all of creation who had the courage to experience their own unique presence inside this human experience. And folks, that's just not something you're going to hear about on the evening news. So it's an awkward choice, we get it, in relationship to a human family that has all but forgotten how it feels to be a sovereign creator of your own experience. The teachings of Michael is all about being of service to this incredible choice. And it's truly an honor for both myself, for Coca, for Zachkiel, and for Michael. We bow before each of you. Of course, we are streaming today from our live home studio in the beautiful Willamette Valley of Oregon. And we're also streaming on 3 of our Facebook pages, our YouTube channel, our Vimeo channel, and much to my surprise, the vast majority are watching this on our website, which doesn't have a chat feature, nor does it have a message board. You're all welcome. You all are very welcome. So let's take a moment to really feel into the energetic support from the thousands of fully awakened human beings who are now living on this planet as we speak, all of which are going through a very intense, life-changing transition on so many levels, unlike anything we have ever witnessed before on this planet. Let's let their presence deeply touch your own heart, your mind, and that carbon-based body of yours. Because this is new, folks. This is really new. And as well, there exists a variety of non-physical beings who are also supporting this experience. One of them you've all grown to know, of course, is Michael, also known as Michael. So, going back to, these are indeed extraordinary times. Those of you that are new to our work, feel free to visit our website at theteachingsofmichael.com. There you'll find a variety of heart-based programs and services, all of which have been created to help support this intense, personal transition into a higher state of consciousness. It's a service that my wife, Koken, and I truly enjoy serving, but it also serves us on a very basic level because it's our livelihood. We both share a similar background as artisans. It allows us to express our creativity in a very tangible way. I'm sure most of you have heard the term starving artists, and we discovered the energy that supports that term was also contained inside what we call a bubble of perception. So Michael encouraged us to take that deep dive into our own inner reality, to become more conscious of these underlying energies, because they can sabotage your own creativity if we choose to remain unconscious of the impact they're having on our life. Almost a decade ago, I walked away from my custom furniture business so I could devote all my time and energy to being of service to Ancient Wings and the teachings of Michael. But I also discovered a lot of underlying energies inside another bubble of perception that were also connected to being of service, but without being in receivership. These energies could have sabotaged what turned out to be my full-time livelihood as a type of spiritual mentor, or what I like to call an intuitive guide. So once again, Michael helped me to become conscious of these underlying energies and showed me how to transcend them by using what we now call the 3 A's: acknowledge, accept, and allow. Because what you don't accept, you end up projecting. Take a breath there. But creating a service that embraced the embodiment of our own soul nature, well, that required that we also experience what we are sharing with others. Otherwise, this is all just a lot of intellectual concepts, ideas, philosophy, or just more theories. So we've had the honor of working with a lot of very creative people over the years, many who had some really good ideas, but they too were unconscious of these bubbles of perception that end up sabotaging their own creations. Like us, they blamed themselves or others for not appreciating their unique creative abilities. And if any of you today are struggling with abundance issues, it's really not about trying to create something that you think others might appreciate. You can create whatever your heart desires, whatever makes your heart sing. But if you're not aware of how it feels when you are actually in receivership or stuck inside some of these bubbles of perception, well, more than likely, your creations won't be able to serve you in a way that is both fulfilling or financially rewarding. So again, we want to thank all of you for your ongoing support and your willingness to apply these teachings to your own life. All of you have been very clear about what you expect. You want tangible evidence that your choice to experience your own unique presence inside of this human experience is actually real. And in my own unique way, to accommodate that choice for myself, I stopped acting as a conscious channel for Michael back in 2012. I too had to embrace what it means to integrate these non-physical facets or counterparts of ourself, which meant that I too had to acknowledge the presence of my own human ego personality, to become aware of how its perception of reality is very, very different from my own soul. Not bad, just different. Which meant for me that I had to practice giving my voice the freedom to speak for my soul. Allowing my soul to have a voice. One that isn't separate from Michael's presence, but it's very unique, which of course offers a very refreshing alternative to all those underlying conflicted energies that end up creating their own identity, one that feels separate from the soul. So again, let's take that collective deep breath. I know that a lot of us share the same story in relationship to our human family. We never truly fit into what was expected of us. Oh, we tried because, let's face it, who doesn't like to be appreciated or loved back? But on those terms, it just wasn't enough. Or did it have more to doing with knowing that what we were feeling really wasn't love? We're just kind of weird. And that's actually something to be proud of. You know, I've never been to a fast food restaurant, including the one with the yellow arches. I've never been to Walmart. Well, I've been there once, only because Coca wanted me to see what I was missing all these years. And I've never been back. I've never worn a watch because I just don't like being of service to time in that way. I've been self-employed or employed by my own self for most of my life. Why? Because I love my freedom. So yes, we're really different from most people. It takes a tremendous amount of courage to be on this planet, but not feel like you're of it. Which means it must be time to turn today's show over to Michael. But first, let's take a peek, as we always do, at some of our upcoming live events. We're going to do that in a very short 2-minute. And of course, you can find more information on any of these events on our website. Just go on to theteachingsofmichael.com and click on the tab Live Events, and there you'll find all the information you need. Let's move to another new project I also wanted to share with you. Before I started, Michael would like to see this book completed no later than end of this year, and I think it's going to be sooner than that. So how could I refuse? Well, initially, yes, I did, but I guess that didn't go over very well. Why the urgency? Why does it need to come out now? Well, because this year is having such a profound impact, not only on our lives today, but on the future of this planet on so many levels. And because of that, we've shared over 100 hours of live streaming content during this year alone in service to this very unique time we're living in. Michael asked me to use some of that content, his messages, in service to those that we are serving now and for future generations. So for all of you that have been participating in any of our live events this year, your energy will also be in this book, very much so. And for that, well, thank you. Indeed, thank you from the bottom of my heart. So I'll announce when that book is available, both in Kindle, ebook version, and as a printed version on Amazon as soon as it's available. Let's take another deep breath. As Michael has said many times, if not for us, he and all of his fellow creators would not even be here. And of course, he's also said, if not for all of these non-physical creators, we wouldn't be here either. So on that note, give me a moment to allow Michael to step forward here. Indeed. Greetings, dear ones. It is I, Michael, or for those who prefer my original name, Michael. It is an honor for me to be with all of you in this way. I recognize the degree of courage it takes Robert to trust in me being a part of this relationship, to have his own unique voice, both as a soul and that human ego personality combined with me. All of you have become really accustomed to perceiving yourself and life really as a singular being. One identity, one body, one earth, and of course, the one that really hurts, just one lifetime. Your problem for so many lifetimes was trying to convince others that there also existed multifaceted versions of you without making you look really crazy. And of course, to that singular identity that many refer to as the human ego, one that has perhaps, well, how do we say this, one or two control issues, it would make such a notion seem, well, far-fetched, kind of delusional. So it's been quite a journey for all of you, has it not? To step outside those lines of separation you inherited from your own human family. Nothing wrong with it. It just denied you the freedom to be more than that. So you let go of so many connections, human in nature. So many relationships, perhaps karmic in nature, that didn't support being a physical human being and a non-physical soul being at the same time inside these human vessels, these physical bodies. And of course, all of you have heard a variety of stories, all created by that singular version of you that insist that you actually need permission from a divine part of you that is separate from this human experience. Permission that will only be granted once you've kicked the bucket, died, in order to experience how it does feel to be connected to something greater than this physical reality. And that, of course, my friends, allows that singular part of you to be able to maintain control of your entire experience here as a human, using a variety of unfulfilling emotions to help guide you through this very confusing experience called being human. And you wonder why we are so amazed at where you are at as we speak. Oh, we know you're still feeling the ups and downs from such a profound and radical choice. You insisted, without knowing how you knew, that something truly was out of balance on this planet. You knew at the core of your own heart that this presence that we refer to as the Eternal One is also benevolent. You knew, without knowing how you knew, that this divine presence has no agenda when it comes to sharing its presence with any form of life, including with that singular human identity you call the ego. If only it would allow it. If only it would allow it. And how is that going, my friends? Yes, we know. We know. So let's take a breath there. It's not an easy thing to accept that the vast majority of thoughts that run through your own mind, your head, each and every day, then none of those originated from you. It would be like listening to the same entire CD over and over and over again for your entire life. Is it not? Is it not? Or like watching the same movie, the same DVD, your entire life over and over again without ever questioning the source. So it does take a true master to be true to oneself, to be true to the thoughts that speak to your heart. That would represent the art of conscious living. Yes, indeed, which of course supports everything we are sharing. Now it would be natural to ask, dear Michael, how does one choose their own thoughts? Well, by becoming aware of how it feels when you hear or think them. And if any thought doesn't reinforce inside of you a feeling of well-being, then none of those thoughts are yours. Now, I know, and we know, that can feel kind of crazy making. But the you, of course, that we're referring to is you, dear soul. And to be able to establish that feeling of well-being, well, one would have to deeply respect, deeply appreciate, and deeply honor oneself. By doing what? By first loving themselves more than anything else. And how is that going? Indeed. Indeed. And of course, from that singular human ego identity, that just sounds really vain. But from our perspective, vanity lies within a perspective or a perception that this part that incarnated into this physical reality doesn't even exist. That would be you, soul. As we speak, there are now more human beings on this planet who are conscious of which thoughts and which emotions actually originated from their own soul nature connected to their own heart than at any other time. And because of that, it's really easy for us to make really bold statements about certain potentials, such as we come together each month in support of all those courageous beings from all parts of creation who had the courage to experience their own unique presence inside this human experience, and then to embody that choice during this year and a few years to follow. Wow. Such a choice, my friends, does indeed separate you from the rest of your human family. Even though that wasn't your intention, the good news? You can finally drop this whole agenda that had you needing to be recognized by those around you as not being crazy. Well, if you told them our story, well, not much has changed in that relationship. And at the same time, there's a lot going on in your life right now. A lot going on. And unlike most of humanity who is dealing with this current virus, most of you unplugged yourself from what concerns most people at this time. Most of you made a different choice, a very deliberate choice to actually reset your own radiance. That is bold. You not only wanted to experience the very light of your own soul, you decided to give your carbon-based body the same opportunity to return to its original form, which it too isn't physical. So this whole radiance reset involves an ongoing process of shifting your cellular structure from a carbon-based one to crystalline. Indeed, crystalline. Without using this opportunity to leave this planet anytime soon. To actually embody these crystalline cellular structures so that you could enjoy your life more as a human being, more than you have ever done before. Giving you more of a, what shall we call it? Well, let's use our familiar phrase here, more of a quasi-physical experience here on Earth. Not an airy-fairy type of experience, but one that is very grounded, one that is supported by your own passion to live your life in joy, not by hoping it will feel that way, but by creating it with the support of that fire that resides within all of you, simply because you can. Let's take a breath there. You see, when you shift your allegiance from just being that singular ego self to the multifaceted nature of your own soul, well, we would claim this experience outshines going to the moon. It outshines all the time and energy that is being put into right now going to a very barren planet called Mars, when you're already living on one of the most beautiful planets in all of creation. With this reset radiance, your light will help to support millions of new creative thinking human beings whose very ideas and solutions, for the most part, have always been shut down in the past for a variety of reasons. The new creatives are here to put Christ consciousness in motion, in action. You are here to radiate such a presence. The new creatives serve a very important role in this shift from a singular ego-based identity to one that is even more inclusive, one that embraces cooperation, mutual respect, and self-love as not being vain, but as being necessary. My friends, these are incredible times, and we are overjoyed to be able to be of service to those who embrace life with all of their heart. As my dear friend Yeshua once said, yes, be on this planet, but not of it. This will be very, very important to remember this during your lifetime here. For as long as that might be, it will help you to maintain a more detached perspective as it relates to how most of humanity will react to this dramatic shift. One that will not only impact every aspect of life here on earth, but within all of creation. This, my friends, is indeed the second coming of Christ consciousness in action. And if you don't like that term as it relates to some of your religions, so be it. Call it whatever you want. But this is not a time for you to follow fear, for you to feel that fear and become overwhelmed by it. If it is fear, it serves you now. Indeed, it does. Within this emerging new consciousness, fear actually doesn't exist. It's replaced by common sense and very clear discernment. It doesn't need to exist any longer in your own life. This, my friends, is time for you to celebrate. It's about time. We know your heart would prefer that all of humanity was celebrating with you. Well, in time they will, but you just won't be here in a physical body. But it required that somebody had to step forward and to step out of what is no longer real. You are spirit too. Never again, from this day forward, do you need to let go of that truth. Because that truth, my friends, is your freedom, with your name on it. You are spirit too, with your name on it. Thank you for allowing me to remind each of you of your own magnificence. We know from your human perspective, any, and we mean any other choice would have been far easier to deal with than the one you made. But you simply couldn't live with yourself or would want to live with others if your inherent freedom wasn't a part of your own experience. All of life is here at this time in support of you. Maybe in ways that you've ignored. Listen, my friends, to the story of your magnificent son. How it touches the lives of so many on this planet. Let its warmth soothe your concerns, if you have any. Let its own radiance inspire new ideas. It knows it has touched your life. Listen to the story of this being, what you call your son. Listen to the story from your oceans, your rivers and your creeks, from the rain itself, always moving, always creating in their own way a new pathway, always flowing with the in-breath and the out-breath. Let this water help calm your thoughts. Listen to the story of the rivers, the oceans, the creeks, the rain. There's a story waiting to be heard. Perhaps not in your human words, but indeed, it is a story waiting to be heard. It's being shared with all of you every single day. Listen to the story of this element on your planet. And while you're feeling the warmth on your skin from that brilliant sun, did you also notice a gentle breeze touching your cheek? Befriend the wind. It helps to move energies. And if you allow it, it loves to play in your own energy. We, your non-physical counterparts, we love blending with all the elements on your planet. It represents a type of mutual respect, but it also is available to all of you now. Why? Because these elements trust you. If you're ready to trust yourself. These elements that are here on this beautiful planet are always open to playing with any of you. Listen to their story, my friends. And share your new story with them. So much support all around you. They might not be two-legged, but they are indeed real. All my blessings.